Welcome, everyone. My guest today, Mr. Bob Layton, Chief Channel Officer at eSentire. Bob, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Adam. It's great to be with you today.
So exciting things taking place in the security arena. You know, as an organization, we've had increased focus on security, many partners selling security. But what's interesting to me is this is a phenomenon only over the last couple of years. Security has been a hot topic in industry for, 2 decades. And only now is the channel getting engaged. So of course we engaged with eSentire, had a tremendous uplift in our partnership just recently. But why would you say that's so recent in the channel versus the importance of security for the last 2 decades?
It's a great question, and you're right, Adam. Security's been front and center for more than 2 decades. But what's happened is the adversaries, the attackers, have gotten to where they're not just looking for giant global corporations, they're now looking for Main Street America. Why? Because they're easy targets. They can get in, get out, abscond with some data or some money, and the people that they're attacking really have no way to prevent themselves from being attacked. That's where the channel comes in. The channel already has a relationship with Main Street America, all the way up to the middle enterprise and all the way up to the large enterprise. So by going through the channel, we're leveraging those trusted relationships that your advisors have.
But I would say it was a different channel. A decade or 2 ago, I would say it was a different channel that was engaging on the security front. This channel, sometimes called the telecom channel because it grew up through network and then sold UCaaS and then CCaaS, and now it's selling, all sorts of other things. Why would you say that, this channel was late to the game?
Well, so here's what was happening. Your channel and your partners were ready for this. The industry and the market had not made the shift, Adam. Now what's happened is a transformation in 2 different ways, right? One is shifting toward the subscription economy. And 2, we now have people who don't want to hire staff to maintain blinking lights and data infrastructure. They're looking for the outcome. They're not looking for the process. And so now that the market has embrace this subscription economy, your partners are perfectly positioned to go and take advantage of that.
Oh, 100%. We're all about the subscription. We're all about the recurring element, not just because of the great cash flow, profile of that, but also, these partners just have the ability to maintain and curate a relationship over years and decades. That I think is ideal for any sort of service orientation. Do you see now in security, as you have been a part of the industry for a good long while, has the majority shifted from endpoint project-based over to subscription, or are we still kind of in the middle?
I think it's certainly heading towards subscription faster and faster. But if you rewind and think back to the telecommunications days, this predates when UC was a product in the cloud. When UC was moving, you were moving away from your small key system mounted on the wall or a large PBX with everything punched down on the wall. You had to do moves, adds, and changes. That was very intense. And then voice became an application on the network. And who were the first persons to take advantage of that? The giant technology providers and the traditional distribution routes to market. But then what happened? More and more, as things started to advance in the technology and it went to a SaaS model, then who took advantage of it? The original players in the SaaS market, and that was the telecommunications teams that were in your partner channel. So now, if you follow that bouncing ball, and voice is the greatest example, it went from large PBX that took up a room, voice was an application on a server, and you had converged networking. Then voice became an application you consumed by SaaS. The same thing has happened with security. It's gone from a firewall, which was just something you put at the edge of your network, to then buying endpoint protections, antivirus, all kinds of sandbox appliances, all these different things, and it just got to be sprawl. And what people realized was they were looking for the outcome. They didn't need to do the moves, adds, and changes and storing plastic handsets and spare parts. Now they just wanted voice as an application. They want security as an application now, and why not consume it as a subscription?
Well, and that's what we're seeing, and that's what we're loving here. So we've seen security uplift quite a bit just in the last couple of years as a new product set and a focus for partners. So let's talk a little bit about eSentire, because you guys haven't been sitting still. Not only did you engage in the channel, but you've continued on product development and just released something I think is pretty interesting. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So one of the things, since we've been around for 22 years, we've basically created the largest data lake in the industry, as far as our peers go, on all of this, the telemetry and the packet capture and everything that we take in to investigate what's going on. One of the things that's different, if you look back at our roots, our founder actually created the acronym MDR before it even existed. But kind of fast forwarding today, what we've done is we've leveraged automations as well as machine learning. We run three different machine learning models, and we're constantly taking in all this data, not for the purpose of picking up the phone and calling someone and saying, "Oh, you have a problem." We actually drive it all the way through to a response. And so all of the data that we take in is for research, because when we find something, let's say it's a client that's in Salt Lake City, we then do a sweep of our entire global base of thousands of customers across 80 countries. And we say, does anyone else have that vulnerability that we just found in Salt Lake? And so by doing those data sweeps, that's the power of the community of data that we have. But more importantly, and you'll see this in a recent Forbes article that came out last month, we're able to collaborate with foreign governments and our own government here in the United States and actually capture and lead to the arrest of the people who are writing and creating all of this ransomware and these attacks. And so I'll point your team back. I'll put a post up here on where you can find that Forbes article. But that's one of the differences in where we're taking the industry.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So with that database, with the product you've got, you're engaging this channel, what kind of success are you seeing? And at what pace would you say it's growing?
That's a great question. So if you reverse about 3 years from now, only about maybe 25 to 28% of our business went through the channel. Fast forward to today, we're approaching 75% of our business going through the channel. And one of the things that I like to tell everyone, and they say, well, Bob, why did you build your channel this way? And why do you have an 84% participation rate in your channel programs? And the answer is proximity to buyer and trust. And your channel partners, Adam, have trust and they have proximity to the buyer. So what everyone has missed in the industry, we think, is why not go to the place of trust? Find those advisors that already are working with the clients. That's our path to telling our story. And it's been wildly successful for us. In fact, in our international markets that Telarus also participates in, whether it's in the Tradewinds brand down under or whether it's in Telarus in the UK and Europe, 90% of our business is going through the channel. So it's been an incredible success story.
Fantastic. Well, you certainly got the channel vision. I'll tell you this, though, as we look at our numbers, every month they're increasing in terms of engagement. These partners who have started out in wireline or voice or contact center or cloud, they're finding cloud, or rather security, being a part of the conversation. But still the vast majority have not. They're still coming over, still learning. What would you say to them? What does an engagement look like when they come their first time to engage in a security conversation and bring you in?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. So every single time that I'm out on the road and I meet Telarus partners, this is a common question. They don't know how to start the conversation. And one of the greatest fears is, what if that customer asks me a question I can't answer? I'll look silly. And that could compromise my trust. And so we help them with understanding conversation starters, how to meet them with where they are in the security journey. And then we provide subject matter experts to help them along the way. And so without fail, any of the Telarus partners that have begun to have security conversations, first, they're not doing it alone. We're there to help them. But once they have several, they gain confidence and they move quickly. It's no different than if you go back to the hosted UC or the UCAS stories. There were a lot of things that were very different. People asking about API integration and CTI hooks and where does this application tie in here and how does that work if I move it to the cloud? What about call recording? That was scary too. But with security, it's less scary when you've got subject matter experts, not only from your team, Adam, but from ours right there beside them.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we've seen a trend in our most successful partners is leverage in terms of they leverage other people around them. They don't try to do it all. They own the relationship, but they leverage others around them. I think we see the same pattern that you do, and that's how these partners who haven't engaged yet, I think, will be successful. Is not being intimidated by the question, but leveraging the partnership. Well, last question for you, Bob. Where do you see partnership with the channel, your engagement with the channel in the next year or two?
We're continuing to invest in it. I would not be surprised if within the next 9 months we announce that we are 100% channel around the globe. And here's why. The more investment we put into the channel, we find that we're growing our business faster and faster. But here's why. We have unlocked and solved the puzzle of the channel, which is they need help in getting started. They need not just enablement. Don't point me to a training session on a video. Give me the resources I need. I'm about to go walk into one of my largest clients. I need to co-brand a piece of material. I need to have some conversation starters, and I need you to give me some examples of something going on specifically in that vertical or something for this customer of that size. We have that at your fingertips and available all the time. And so one of the things we get back from our partners is you are on time with the right information. You're helping me grow my business. And that's where we're going. We're just going to continue to double down on building that.
Fantastic. Well, Bob, you've been a great partner to Telarus, great to the partner community in terms of creating an on-ramp through our education resources, whether digital or in person, and your engagement to getting more partners selling security. So I thank you and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at Telarus Partner Summit.
I'll see you there, and we're grateful to you and all your partners. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bob.